I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up, no, not me. Even if nobody else believes, I'm not going down that easily. So don't give up on me.
Hey everyone, are you rad for Christ? You fired up for Jesus? Welcome back to another episode of Radical Christianity, the talk show that highlights God in action. I am Drew, your host, and I want to thank you for joining us. Beautiful Florida, the state known for its sunny skies, pristine beaches, and, shall we say, interesting characters. It's one way to put it, right? Gotta watch out for those gators too, since about 6 people are bitten each year. Pretty serious. Well, alligators aren't the only threat in Florida. One woman was recently bitten by, you'll never guess, a priest. Yeah, that's right. She was visiting St. Thomas Aquinas' Catholic Church and walked away with a bad taste in her mouth after communion during Mass went sour. According to the woman, a priest tried to shove a cookie in her mouth. A witness went on to say he tried to forcefully shove it in her mouth. She backed up. She said, "No, don't do that." And she tried to get it, and that was when he went crazy. I mean, some would say that's in pretty poor taste. Police went back to talk with Father Rodriguez, who admits it all, saying he was defending himself and the sacrament. And also, I bit her. I'm not denying that. Somehow I think that's not what Jesus meant when he said, "Take and eat." In a statement issued by the Diocese of Orlando, the priest gave the woman a blessing and advised her to receive the sacrament of penance, confession, before coming back to receive Holy Communion. When she returned, apparently the priest asked if she had been to the sacrament of penance. Allegedly, she said it was not his business. Uh-oh. At that time, Father Rodriguez offered the woman Holy Communion on the tongue. Then the woman forcefully placed her hand in the vessel and grabbed some sacred communion hosts and crushed them. You know, it does sound kind of tense. So in his eyes, I guess you could say he was taking a bite at a crime. The statement also went on to address that the sacrament should be revered and is not a cookie, as the woman originally described. Very true. But she isn't a cookie either. Am I right? Hey, maybe he was hangry. Should have had a Snickers bar. What do you think? Did he just totally bite her head off or what? Or does the Holy Eucharist deserve a guard dog? All right, so come on out and find us on social media and let us know what you think. And make sure to share this with somebody you think will enjoy it. All right, everyone, tell me, are you rad for Christ? You fired up for Jesus? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another special treat for you. We go on location to the Cornerstone Coffee Company and House of Hope and speak with Vikki Luna about her ministry and the amazing things that she's doing with women's lives. Please sit back, relax, enjoy the show. This is going to be great. Vikki, welcome to Radical Christianity.
Hi, Drew. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's going to be fun. I'm glad that we have the opportunity here to hear about the coffee shop and the lighthouse. I think that's pretty awesome things that you're doing right now. So the way we do things on the show is we kind of go from testimony to mission. So if you would share with us how you met Jesus.
Yeah, well, I was standing in my front yard at the time, 1420 North Del Mar, and I had a pregnancy test that said positive. I'd been married about 2 years, met brokenness, and together we were a mess. But I knew that life had to change because now I was going to be influencing a little life. And so I did what my mom taught me to do, and I just closed my eyes, said Jesus. When I was young, my mom was a very broken person as well. But she taught us a lot of things not to do, but she also taught us what to do. And when life got really rough for her, she would gather us all up, run to the closest little Pentecostal church, and get her fill up, and then off we go again. But so that's what I did. I closed my eyes, said Jesus, and ran to the closest little Pentecostal church I could find. That was Cornerstone Church 30 years ago on Mother's Day of 1994. So
Where was Cornerstone then? Because it wasn't down
corner
here.
of Divisadero and Fresno Street.
Okay.
A little downtown church there. And it was Mother's Day in 1994. And I responded to the altar call, and the Lord began to change my life from there.
Awesome. So how did that lead to the lighthouse?
Well, I didn't know it was going to. I accepted Jesus. I was going to school. I had previously changed schools at least 19 times that I could count.
Well, you changed schools 19 times? That's a lot.
Yeah, that I could count 19 times. My mom had we had a pretty unstable childhood, so we moved a lot. And so I was a high school dropout. I was the oldest of 4 siblings. And so I did what I knew to do. I came from a long lineage of broken women, all divorced, and just no stability. But my mom was a good cheerleader, so she always, pumped us up with confidence. So as I began my own journey, I left home at a younger age, got a job, but I did drop out of high school. So later I went back to school after we were married. My husband and I went back to school and got a degree. And the Lord just started my journey. Now looking back, I didn't know it then, but now looking back, I can see how the different positions that I worked all prepared me for what I'm doing now here at the Lighthouse.
Okay. Well, so that's God works that way, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Kind of like drops breadcrumbs in your life, and then eventually it becomes something. Yeah, it's beautiful, but it's also annoying a little bit.
Well, I liked all of my jobs.
Yeah.
I worked at a group home. I worked at juvenile probation in the juvenile institution, and then I went into substance abuse services. Substance abuse services was not my dream job. I didn't want to go to that job, but that ultimately is what led me to Lighthouse.
Okay, so tell us about the Lighthouse and how that got started.
Well, I founded the Lighthouse in 2007. We started as a very small sober living home, serving about 5 women who had graduated another program somewhere in the city that needed a continuum of care. And so I worked my different assignments when I worked for the county. I worked there for 15 years. My different assignments, I would do assessments on women to find out what the level of care was that they needed for recovery, or if they got their children removed, or they were involved with probation or mental health services. I would do an assessment and determine the level of care needed. At one point, I was putting women in different programs within our city, and they were all secular. They were all secular programs. And so I found that women were running to these meetings, getting signature, getting their cards signed, but they really were never connecting with the level of their soul. And there were a lot of investors in our city at the time, making a buck. I mean, it was a good business plan. They weren't meaning to cause harm, but they were renting out beds to people in early phases of recovery, but there was no real continuum of care. And so that's what led me to start the Lighthouse.
Okay, so how did you build the Lighthouse? I mean, obviously that's why you started it, but how did you start it? What was there must have been some challenges there, right?
Yeah. Well, so I always just do what I can with what I have. I don't wait to, some people wait till remodel their kitchen when they can remodel their whole house. But I just do what I can with what I have. God's faithful in that. And so I'm driving down the street one day after I had visited a client who I had put into a treatment program. She was now living in what they call the sober living. And I just knew there had to be more to offer these women to help them, with full wraparound type services. They didn't even know to get a job or get dressed in the morning. And so I'm driving down the street, I'm talking to God about how terrible my experience was with this lady that I just met with, and that she had lack of services. And she didn't know what to do. Okay, I have this graduation certificate from this program that I went to, but now what do I do? Where do I go from here? And the Lord reminded me of a conversation that I heard coworkers having years ago. And the Lord had already shown me how to buy a home with no money out of my pocket. And so what I did was I went home and I told my husband, hey, I think God is calling me to open up a home for women. And he said, well, 2 conditions. Don't lose our house. It's the only thing we have. And God's calling you to work with women, so it's your deal, not mine. Don't ask me to work with the women. So I kept my end of the bargain. I took a loan out against our house. I bought a house here in town and called it the Lighthouse, made it available to women who had completed programs in the city. And now this was going to be a place for them to meet Jesus and learn how to get a job. So that's where it started.
Awesome. So how many women have been served since then?
Hundreds. Yeah.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
So you said it started out with 5 women in the house. Is it bigger now?
Yes. Now we're we had that house, and then I opened a second house, and then we opened the education center in 2011. And so I was running around to all these different, locations, and we're Christ-centered, and so we don't get federal funding, we don't have contracts with the county or the city, and so I have to fundraise all of the money. So we were very thin with staff. It was myself and 2 volunteers. And but we just grew from there. God is faithful. When you just say yes and you're obedient to building His kingdom instead of your own, then He just shows up and makes it all come together. So it was really like Peter walking on water, just one foot in front of the other, and God developed all that we have today. So now we have 1 building, and we have 27 beds there. That's we call it our Miracle Mansion. It's actually the name of it is House of Hope. And then we have a 6-unit apartment complex at another location where women who successfully graduate the program can live independently in that apartment for up to 30 months. And we help them buy homes, the women who live in that apartment. We have 3 social enterprises because every woman who comes to the program has to get a job. Once they get to phase 2, then that's the reentry phase. So in order to help them get jobs, we have education component, job readiness, coupled with hands-on work experience. So that's what Cornerstone Coffee is about, and that's what our Ladybug Boutique is about. And then we also have an apparel line called Lighthouse.
Oh, okay. So the coffee house serves Lighthouse, okay, which is beautiful. And being right here next to Cornerstone, that's really convenient. So, so what led you to? I mean, obviously the need to raise capital, but what inspired the coffee house?
Well, we would send our ladies to other Christ-centered or Christian-owned businesses in the city once a week for work experience training. And so that way, on their resume, when it came time for them to go to the job search phase, they would have their job readiness class, so they'd know how to do an interview, they'd know how to shake a hand, they'd know how to respond and dress for the interview. But they would also have something to put on their resume. So at the coffee shop and the different venues that we have, they're able to engage with the customers, practice customer service, practice everything that they learned in the classroom. So one day, Pastor Franklin called me for a meeting, and he said, I noticed that the ladies that you serve go to other places for work experience. And I said, yes. And he, of course, over the years has seen the fruit of the ministry of the Lighthouse. So he said, how would you like a venue of your own to train your ladies? I said, well, I'd love one. He said, you can take over the coffee shop. So he just gave us the business, and at the time, the coffee shop was only being operated on Sundays by the church volunteers for the congregation. And so we stepped out in faith and opened it Sunday through Friday, and God has just grown it slowly over the years. It's a wonderful advantage for the girls because it's like home turf advantage. This is their coffee shop, so they don't feel intimidated. They feel confident here. They have pride of ownership, and so it's a great place for them to get their feet wet.
That's awesome. So then you said you have a boutique?
Yes, we have the Ladybug Boutique and Thrift.
Okay, Lady Bump?
Ladybug. I call
Ladybug.
the girls Ladybugs.
Okay.
And so it's the Ladybug Boutique and Thrift, and that is in Northwest Fresno at Palm and Bullard.
At Palm and
Bullard?
Palm and Bullard. Okay.
Yeah. We opened up the thrift store originally in the Tower District, but that neighborhood didn't serve very well for a recovering person. And so we found this location in Northwest Fresno, and we've been there about a year now, and it's been a great place, great neighborhood for us to grow that business.
Yeah. Well, Palm and Bullard is a pretty decent neighborhood. Yeah, there's a lot of activity there too. So
yes, there is. Yeah, and they're building a Starbucks right in our shopping center.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, and so they'll be finished with that probably by the end of June, and so that'll bring in a lot more customers too. But so far, so good in that location.
Oh, that's awesome. And then so there's the boutique, and then the coffee shop, and then you mentioned an apparel line.
Yes, lightwear. That's what you see here at the coffee shop, and then we have a few other venues that carry our line. Prior to COVID, we had about 7 boutiques and coffee shops carrying our product. So we're hoping to get back into some of the local coffee shops and boutiques here locally in our city.
Okay, so now you have all this going on, right? So that's a lot of moving parts. You got to have more people on staff now.
Yeah, we do. Now we operate the house, the coffee shop, the boutique, and the lightwear, and we have 12 staff people.
Okay.
So it's still pretty thin, but we have a lot of volunteers, and we're thankful for our volunteers. We're thankful for our team. And yeah, it's just God stretching us, doing what He does. I make sure that our staff gets good rest. I make sure everybody practices the Sabbath, right? Get 24 hours of rest, and He just supercharges us.
That's awesome. So I'm sure you have thousands of great stories. Can you share some with us, some really impactful stories that our audience would really get something from?
Yeah. There are so many. I hate to pick just one, but I will.
You can pick a couple.
Okay. One time we had a county department call us from outside of our county, and they asked if we provided Spanish-speaking services, and I said, no, we don't. We're the smallest program, probably in the central San Joaquin Valley, but we have great results. Over 80% of our women maintain sobriety, once we graduate, maintain sobriety and self-sustainability. So they called and said, do you provide, Spanish-speaking services? And I said, no. And I said, God, some of the bigger programs in our city and surrounding counties provide those services. They said, no, nobody does. This woman had a 3-year-old boy in foster care at the time. And I went home that night, and the Lord just poked at me and said, if no one helps this mom, what happens to this boy? And so the next day, I got this great idea from God. I came to the office, and I said, hey, can we translate our material into Spanish? I had a Spanish-speaking house monitor. I had a Spanish-speaking office assistant, and I had a Spanish-speaking intern at the time.
Oh, that was convenient.
Yeah. God just does that. So we looked into it. We bought this program that translated all of our, that would translate all of our literature. And so I called them back and I said, yeah, we'll serve her. And we served her, and she graduated the program. We were able to help her identify that her little boy was probably on the spectrum for autism. And today they are still happy, healthy, whole. He's doing great in school. She had another baby, and they're just a happy family. They attend a church in the city where they live, and we got to be part of that reunification and restoration. And so that blesses my heart, because she didn't have a relationship. Mom did it with the Lord before she came to the Lighthouse, but today she does, and so her children are also reaping the benefits of that.
That's
awesome. That's one story. That was several years ago. Oh gosh, so many. I'm trying to think of the tags. We had a gal who came to our program. Her mother had passed, She was a victim of incest for many years and just drowning her trauma in alcohol and drugs. And when she came to us, we were the first place that she told that secret. And she was able to get healing. And today she's a wonderful part of our program. Many years later, she helps to mentor some of the other women coming back through the program. She's been a wonderful asset to our community, the body of Christ here locally. And so stories like that, not everybody makes it, but the ones who do sure do keep you going.
I imagine that it is a nice uplift to see little victories all the time, and there's probably some really big victories, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, what about your staff? I mean, obviously, they must be getting something out of it too. God doesn't put somebody in that position that doesn't grow from it.
Right. We also we also train some women outside of our program with employment skills. So, like here at the coffee shop or at the boutique, we train women that are dependent on public assistance. And most of the time they're single women who don't know the Lord, and so we train them. And then if they prove to be a good fit and they're developing in the areas that we're trying to train them, then we've brought them on, like Anel, who works here at the coffee shop. She's been here, I think, 6 years now, and we hired her through the Welfare to Work program. Our office assistant, she came as a single mom for employment training, and she is now serving out of her local church. And she's been employed with us now 3 years. We have a gal who works at the boutique. She's employed now. So all of these women, we literally help move from welfare to work. And we get to teach them about Jesus in the meantime.
Yeah. And have you seen lots of lives change as far as with the Lord?
Oh, yes. I just got a Facebook message from a gal who came to the program in 2008 who said, "Thank you so much. My son, who's now, an adult, I think he's in his mid-20s, we're doing well. Thank you for the love and support that you provided us," because they didn't have a relationship. He had been being raised by the grandmother while she was living in a tent, homeless and strung out on methamphetamine. And but today they're happy and thriving, and they, she took the time to find me on Facebook and said, "Hey, just want to touch base. Thank you for helping us to change our lives."
That's awesome. So, where do you see things going next?
Continue doing what we're doing now. We'd love to have a daycare center to be able to serve the children of the women who come to our program. We recently had a mom come to us who was pregnant. She had been involved in human trafficking, rough past, homeless, didn't have any family to help support her. So we had a baby shower, and we were there in the delivery room, and we've been helping to raise that little boy. Found a Christian family to also help her co-parent, her parent partners. We found them, and so we'd like to develop that part of the program to help the moms who don't have family to support them in helping to rear their children.
Okay, that's awesome. So, I mean, obviously, daycare, it would be for smaller children. What about like the ones that come into the program that have, elementary school age children or older?
Yeah. Well, they would be going to school during the day, and then they could be at the daycare after hours or in the summertime. So really looking to do a daycare that would help all of the children that we serve. Like the mom I told you that reached out on Facebook after all of these years, he was 13. Her son was 13 when they came to the program, and other programs don't allow boys that are that age. But if we didn't say yes, where else were they going to reunify? And so I was able to position the rooming and things like that to keep him separated from the other women in the house for the most part, and we made it happen. So we just take care of what God brings to our attention the best way we can in the most safest and professional way, and just wrap our arms, link with them, and walk this journey with them.
And has the city stepped up at all to help at this point, or are they
just hands off? And
Our mayor is very supportive of the ministry of the Lighthouse as far as like contracts or funding. No, we don't have any contracts or funding from the city yet. So you never know what God's going to do, but our mayor is very aware of our ministry. He loves us and supports us. But as far as like contracts with the city, no, nothing as of yet.
nothing as of yet. What about other parallel industries? People who are like I know that there's other housing facilities available. I know that there's other people that look for places like you to place people. So do you work with any other third-party ministries or
I mean,
programs?
people will call us. Maybe a local shelter might call to say, "Hey, do you have a bed available?" So we collaborate that way. But as far as funding, no.
No, and there's no funding, no help that way. Okay.
No, I'm the fundraising queen of Fresno.
You are the fundraising queen of Fresno, huh?
We have to raise all of our money. So, but also the coffee shop helps with that, and the boutique help with that. So it helps us with earned income. The primary goal, of course, is to train the women with employment skills. Secondary, to help offset expenses of the ministry. So although our businesses are small and the net proceeds are still on the lower side, they're growing.
That's awesome. I don't want to miss any questions here. So what would you say makes the coffee shop special other than the obvious, connection to the Lighthouse?
Well, we love Jesus, and we're sharing him with the city, with the women who come here for training, with the customers who walk through the door, with the employees that we hire. So we say that we don't hire people to sell coffee, we sell coffee to hire people.
Okay, that's awesome. And so is there the boutique, the coffee shop, the apparel line? Is there any other? So the daycare center is something that you want to do.
Yeah.
Are you expanding on any of the existing ones? Possibly. Do you think that you might, open up another coffee shop or another boutique? Or
Would love to. I mean, if someone calls me like Pastor Franklin did and says, "Hey, we have a building over here in Northeast or Northwest or Clovis, and it would make a great coffee shop. You want the keys?" I mean, just like he did, I would never say no.
Yeah, this is a great location.
It is.
I mean, do you get a lot of foot traffic here?
We do from the businesses. So people who work in the area come in and get their coffee, or Kepler kids, their families come in. But after 5, it pretty much is closed.
Yeah, I imagine
shop.
as soon as the city shuts down, it's because this is downtown Fresno. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, there are a lot of people who have moved in. I mean, there's the new lofts, all that kind of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're either work here during the day or
Right.
Yeah, and most people don't drink coffee late at night, so
No.
yeah. Well, that's so awesome. Is there anything else that you want to share with us about these programs that I haven't asked you about?
No, just our mission is to offer hope, help, and healing to women and their children, and that's what we use all of our locations.
Do you have a website or anything like
We do.
that?
It's lighthousefresno.org.
Okay.
So they can get onto our website, find out more about our program, and they can volunteer at any of our sites. If people are looking to do some volunteer kingdom type work, they can fill out a volunteer application, and we can find a slot for them.
What kind of volunteers do you need?
Well, at the boutique, women or men who sort. We have people who pick up donations for us, women who sort, iron, steam, display, tag, price, all of that stuff. At the coffee shop here, people that help stock and do janitorial, help prep the sandwiches. So a wide range of things that they can help with. For lightware, helping us to tag and helping us to put the tumblers. This is a tumbler that we make. So we make a bunch of different types of tumblers, and we take them to events. So we have vendor booths at some local events as well.
That's awesome. Do you go to the farmers market ones, or?
We haven't been to the farmers market, but like the different churches, if they have a women's conference, we set up a booth there. We were recently this year for the first time out at the Clovis Rodeo, and that was fun. We got to minister out there while we sold product to the people who were attending. So different venues like that.
I can see where people would want to purchase a tumbler just because it's for a good cause. I mean, because a lot of people collect tumblers for some reason.
Yeah, we have a lady who orders for all of the people in her circle. The last 2 Christmases, she orders like 300 tumblers.
Wow.
So she's our Black Friday kind of thing, right? Helps us make profit for a good part of the year.
Well, that's super awesome. Thank you for sharing all this with us. Obviously, we're going to try and let people know and see if we can get people to pay attention, volunteer, donate, whatever else. Now, obviously, you said it's like the boutique is a thrift store?
Yeah, it's a thrift store.
Yeah, so they take donations of clothes or furniture?
Everything.
Or everything.
Furniture, appliances, clothing, new or gently used, and it's boutique style. So we have lots of good name brands there at thrift store prices.
Okay, so what if something's just not cool enough? Does it just like get pushed aside?
Nope, then we sell it to the, there's a local company that buys our textiles type stuff.
Okay.
Recyclables, yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing all this with us. I want to just say that what you're doing is really inspirational, and it's a major challenge, and obviously God's got his hands on it, and I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. We have a saying here on Radical Christianity, and that is, you're definitely rad for Christ, definitely fired up for Jesus, and we love to see that. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the apparel. Is it just shirts? I mean, I saw you had some tumblers. What else do you have?
Yep, we have tumblers, shirts, but what's unique is every piece of item that we make and sell has a testimony with the woman's story.
Well, that's excellent.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So these all are really nice. Are these all original designs? I see the faith and the cross with the flag, and the faith with the cross here.
Yeah, so some of the designs they create, some of them they purchase.
Okay.
So it just depends. If a women's ministry is having a theme, then we'll try to create the theme or take their theme and try to match it. Sometimes we might just order something that's online already. Sometimes we might buy something and add the rhinestones.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Now, is it like the bedazzle method? Is that what that is?
Yeah, we have a heat press.
Oh, okay.
And so we press everything, and then we have these tumblers here that the girls make. And inside of the tumblers are, again, the text. So, this one's Cody Joe. So again, they get the story, the testimony. So it's a nice way to share Jesus and what he's doing in people's lives.
So the testimonies are like really good stories that you have picked out special for the tumblers, or are they associated, like there's one associated to tumblers versus shirts?
No, they just go in all of them.
It's going all of them?
Yeah.
That's great. So what do you guys, when you do the tumblers, you guys have a game plan as far as what goes on them? Because I see that they're pretty, like these, you have ladybugs, obviously, because you call them your ladybugs.
Yep.
And then...
So I have a theme each year that we do. So one year our theme was I Am, and so all of our events and all of my speaking engagements were on the theme. And so then we make the tumblers and the shirts to match the theme. This year it's Unstoppable, so that's what we're putting on most of our apparel, unless we're doing it at another event.
Okay.
So like I say, Cornerstone Women's Ministry, whatever their theme is, we make the apparel to match their theme.
What have you found is the most popular amongst people that get them?
Actually, pretty much there isn't one. The scriptures are real popular. Most people buy the scripture tumblers over just a regular picture.
Okay.
Yeah. Or themes like Football Mom or like Valentine's Day. If it's around a holiday or something like that, then those are pretty popular.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. So if you're focusing on holidays, then you must move a lot of tumblers.
Yeah, during the holidays, yeah. Especially Christmas. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we're here at the house now. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So you gotta tell us about it and show us around. This is great. This is beautiful. I mean, it's obviously had some remodeling and everything, right?
Yeah. So no, actually, this is a brand new home.
It's a brand new home.
Brand new home. We had a major fire in October of 2021, and the whole house burned down. Thank goodness no one was hurt. The roofer, it was a roofing accident. We were having part of the roof redone, and it set ablaze. And unfortunately, the roofer's insurance didn't accept liability because the roofer was using equipment he wasn't covered to use. And so we only had our insurance to lean on, which isn't what a roofer carries. So we didn't have the money to rebuild the home. But God gives beauty for ashes. So a local contractor who loves the Lord saw our empty field as a canvas to do God's great work. And Rich Wathen, Legacy Building by Wathen, helped us in the Great Rebuild. So that was the title of our project, was the Great Rebuild. And now we have a miracle mansion. So we lost 4,300 square feet. We came back at we lost 4,600 square feet, came back at 5,300 square feet. And before the fire, we were only able to house 17 women, which is still a lot, but now we can house 27 women.
That's awesome.
Let me show you inside.
All right.
So everything is brand new. I got to design this house.
Nice.
Wait,
Kind of a little hidden blessing, right?
Oh yeah. So it's our kitchen.
This is an amazing kitchen.
Isn't it beautiful? Yeah.
I mean, not only are these girls getting something in the name of God that's really beautiful for their lives, but you're kind of setting a taste expectation with them for themselves. Which
excellence is our word. Excellence. So everything needs to be done in excellence. They didn't know we're having a tour today. We didn't even know we're having a tour today. But this is how they always keep the house. So living room, dining area. If you come up here, I'll show you. We have a bedroom downstairs, but we have 5 up here.
This is amazing work. The contractor did an excellent job.
Yes, they did. It was the architect, the contractor, the subs, everybody working together. And this is what we have.
Okay.
So some of the bedrooms have bathrooms in them because they're in phase 2. So if they're in phase 1, their bedroom does not have a bathroom. But if they're in phase 2, so there's a promotion every step through the program. They're constantly gaining rewards.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this room has 4 girls, obviously, that can stay in it at one time. And I imagine a little bassinet. Does somebody have a baby here?
Yep, that's baby Andrew.
Oh.
Yeah, that's baby Andrew. He runs the show around here. Yeah. The closets, when I designed the closets, I separated them so that way each girl has their own space. So I put these dividers in.
Nice.
The other house was beautiful and big too, but it was 100 years old.
Right.
So we'd have to say, Mary, don't plug in your curling iron because Sally's blow drying her hair.
And now you have all modern conveniences.
Yep. Every single thing in this house was donated, except the living room and dining room furniture, but we purchased that furniture with donated money.
Okay.
So, I had to raise a little over $500,000 because there was a gap in what our insurance paid and what the costs were. But a lot of the contractors donated. So like our plumber donated their work, which was $100,000. So the staircase was completely donated. All the tile was donated. So tons of businesses donated.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'd have to list them all.
It's a long list, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because this is actually almost a $2 million home. Yeah.
Yeah, it is an amazing place. I mean, for Fresno standard, it's a mansion.
Yeah. And rehab doesn't need to look like rehab, and women don't need to look like they just came off the streets. Because every woman, when she gets a new purse or new dress or new pair of shoes, she feels great, like she's the prettiest one in the room. And so That's why we require them to dress for success. Sometimes they don't like to when they first get here. Either they don't want to put the energy and effort into getting ready, or they don't feel like they deserve it, or they just don't know how, but we teach them all.
This is incredible. I mean, I did not expect to see something this impressive. I mean, I know from dealing with people that an environment, affects the person.
Raise the bar.
Right. Well, it's not even just like, they have to raise the bar, but I mean, being in this environment is gonna change the way that they see themselves and the way they expect things, and this is incredible. This is incredible.
Yeah. Their cars, when they buy cars, we help them buy cars.
You help them buy cars too?
Yeah, well, we don't give them the money, but we teach a budgeting class. We work with a local car lot. I call them up and say, hey, like when Ruby has $2,200 saved, I'll call them and say, hey, Ruby has $2,200 saved. This is the car that she wants off of your lot. Her payments need to be $225 a month. Can you make it happen? And he does.
That's excellent.
Yeah. So...
and does everybody eat together at mealtime?
Those who are on phase 1, yes. Those who are on phase 2, sometimes they're at work, so they're not here during mealtime. They might take their meal with them, or they might eat at work. But if they're home, then yeah. And the chores rotate. So if they're on kitchen, they're there for a week. Then they'll rotate to maybe porches or that kind of stuff. So they rotate. I keep a home environment, just like you do, at home. One person dumps the trash, the other person, does the dishes. So yeah.
Everyone's got responsibilities. That's great.
Yeah. Let me show you sober living before we go into the education center.
Okay.
So this wall here divides the home to the education center. Okay. So we don't use this door here, but when we're gone, this is their classroom. When office staff is gone during the day, then they can still access the classroom, and we close and alarm that part up. Yeah. Okay. This is bedroom, house monitor area where we keep the meds and stuff. Little patio area. Don't get the recyclables in your camera. I'm going to take you up to the sober living apartment. When they graduate this part of the program, which is at a minimum of 6 months, some people take a year. Some people graduate right at 6 months. Like Ruby, the speed she's going, the rate she's going, she's going to graduate right on time. Where I have another lady who she's been with us, but she had a lot more barriers. She's been with us a year. She's graduating next week, but it took her a year instead of 6 months. So once they graduate the program, if they want to work their way over to their own apartment at our small 6-unit apartment complex, they have to first live here. The main house is residential. This is sober living. And then the apartments is transitional living.
Okay.
So we have 2 bedrooms with 2 bathrooms, 2 beds in this room and 3 beds in the other. They each have their own bathrooms. They cook their own meals. They buy their own food. What they're doing here is they're doing everything we taught them to do in phase 1, and now they're doing it on their own without a house monitor living here with them. So now they're going to work, coming back, coming home on time for their curfew. They don't have to turn in their keys to their car anymore. They don't have to turn in their cell phone anymore. They're managing their budget. They're turning in their budget every other week to prove that they're sticking to their budget and they're saving their money, because we raise a lot of money to offset their expenses, and so they have to steward the money that they're earning very well. Otherwise, they say, why am I going to take money from the donors to offset your living expenses, and you're hitting Starbucks and Taco Bell 4 times a week?
Right.
So we monitor their spending, their budget. So they create their projected budget, their proposed budget. We approve it, and then we hold them accountable to sticking to it.
That's very smart.
Yeah. And then once they move over to the apartment, then they're living by themselves, their own apartment. They're not sharing with anybody. And then they're doing the same thing, but now they're only turning in their budgets once a month. And We do random testing, still drug testing and things like that. And now they're involved in their own women's Bible study, their own home church, their own recovery meeting, and they're managing their own lives. So we do one house visit a month. We do random drug testing where we call them in randomly, and we check their budgets monthly. And then they have to be in a home ownership cohort to live in that apartment at a discounted rate. So we have a local lender who's a Christian, who's a partner of our program, and she roadmaps them. Okay, Sally, here's where you're at. This is your FICO score. This is how much money you make every month, and this is where you need to be. So month 1, these are the steps you need to take. Month 2, this is what you need to do, all the way till home ownership. So last summer we had a housewarming party for one of our gals who bought her very first 2-bedroom, 2-bath, brand new home. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, and then we help with that. We give them money towards their first month payment because they've already paid their down payment. They've already gotten qualified. They can sustain what, they've been given. So then we give them a large contribution towards their first month's rent.
That's
Or
amazing.
First month's mortgage. Yeah, so really it's just like raising kids all over again. Really, that's what it is. Even though they're adults, a lot of them have not had this training. They haven't been pushed to their potential. And so they used to go to the drug pusher, and now they're with the hope dealer. So
The hope dealer.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So I push them to their potential, and they do it.
And the hope dealer is so awesome because it's House of Hope. That is great.
Yeah.
We're going to call you the hope dealer.
Yeah. So I love what we do. Love watching them transform their lives. One of the ladies who's living here right now, she's actually been with me almost 12 years off and on. She paranoid schizophrenic, dual diagnosed. She was actually living in parks and eating from the trash cans when she originally came to me. She had gotten a probation case because she was stealing to survive. Sweet soul. So now she has her own car. She has her own schedule that she goes to. Right now she's out of town visiting her a distant relative that she came in contact with. But she goes to her stained art glass class. She maintains on her medication. We won't ever let her move over to her own apartment over there because she still needs some, close proximity to support staff. But she is able to do it here. She fries chicken for dinner, and yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So 12 years. So you've seen her go through a lot, probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I made her get her driver's license. She bought her own car. She goes to stained art glass class. She's starting City College in August. So yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So this is how we do it around here.
This is amazing.
Hi Jessica, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Thanks for being here.
I see none of them cried.
Only I go this way. So reception. This is our office area. This is where all of the offices are. So my office. Don't get all my mess. Cheryl's office. So I have 2 program managers. One who oversees employment training. That's Carmina. She oversees the coffee shop, lightwear, and the boutique. Cheryl oversees all client services, so education, therapy, and housing.
Okay.
Then we have a restroom, break room, and let me put this down and I'll show you. Therapy room, all of our gals get therapy every single week. So the therapist comes and they each get an individual therapy session.
Excellent.
So this is the education center.
This is great. This is amazing.
Yeah, we love it.
Thank you for sharing this with
Yeah.
us. This is a huge blessing to the kingdom, and I imagine that you feel really wonderful being able to be a good steward of what God's given you.
Yeah,
'Cause
I do.
I'm blown away. I mean, this is really an amazing location.
It is. We love it. We've never had any problems down here. We've been in this location since 2013, minus when the house was burned down, that 2-year span. We were at a rental, and then we used Cornerstone's admin building for offices and classroom. But other than that, we love it down here. It's been really good. No complaints. Close to the coffee shop. One bus to the boutique, and yeah.
It's fantastic. Thank you for sharing with
Thank
us.
you.
You're so amazing. Can I give you a hug?
Thank you. Yeah.
Great. God bless you.
You too. Thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Radical Christianity. I really am so glad that you sat with us this show and learned so much about what's going on and the miracles that God has in play and the things that He's doing. It's just a great time to be a follower of Jesus. If you are feeling Jesus tug on your heart, I want you to know that He is ready for you. He's ready to bring you into the family right now. All you got to do is talk to Him and just say, Jesus, I need you. Please come into my heart, come into my life, take over. I want to lay down my way, the ways of the world, and I want to take up your ways, and I want to be a follower of Christ. Just something like that. If you just talk to Him, just tell Him what's on your heart. And if you make that decision right now watching this show or a rerun of this show or any time because of this show, we would love to know about it. You just write us on our website, radforchrist.com, and there's a form there that says Got Saved. You fill out that form, and I'd be happy to send you a Bible and a little gift to show you that we are really happy that you've decided to join the family of God. Also on there is a form for questions. If you have a question, you can ask us about the show, about the people that work on the show, about our guests, question about the Bible, math homework, whatever it is you feel like you want to ask us, please fill out the form. We're happy to try and answer your questions for you. Also, there's a form there for prayer requests. If you have something in need, something that you're hurting for, some help that you need with something, let us know so we can pray for you, because we are here to serve. And this is the most important part. And that's Jesus Christ loves you. And so do I. Thank you for watching Radical Christianity. We will see you next week.
And I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up, no, not me. Even if nobody else believes, I'm not going down that easily. So don't give up on me. In this house I see many things I learned, like how to be a man without and concern. I think I learned. How do I know which road to take, which road to go? I feel so alone. All I need is help getting home. Lord, save me, Lord, help me now. I need your comfort. I am on my knees. Lord, help me. Lord, can you save me now? Lord, hear my plea. I'm wandering down this road. This hill's got me so that I'm losing control of my mind. I need you, Lord, right by my side. I'm here now, feel so free. I know that your word, Lord, blesses me. I know I can fly. Lord, save me, hear my plead, and I know you are right by me. Can you help me through this life that's a dream? didn't exist 5 minutes ago. It exists now. No. I forgot it instantly. But it's all good. I'm waking up with you side by side. I'm waking up when I open my eyes. I know that you're here. I can feel it inside, and I can't help but hide these tears that I cry anymore. Higher and higher, you are my desire. The touch of you brings a spark into a fire. Excited in my soul. Higher and higher, you are my desire. The touch of you brings a spark into a fire. Igniter of my heart, in my soul. Your love's a jump start.
Oh, hey there! I almost didn't see you. Well, now that I have your attention, I would like to talk to you about something pretty cool. And that is the Jesus for President campaign. Yes, Jesus for President. That's no joke. It is actually a thing going on right now. This movement is to draw attention to fellow Christians about how they have been putting politics above their religion. And that's not a good thing. Right? We've been seeing division in families and community and even in marriages. And we can stop that right now. The way that we stop that is we realize that we are only in this world. We are not of this world. Our home is with Jesus Christ, and our mission on this planet is to spread the love of Jesus and try to get people to also join us in heaven someday. Now, what the slogan is for the campaign is pretty simple and it's pretty memorable. And so listen carefully. When you accept Jesus Christ into your heart, you make him resident. But you need to make him president, okay? When you make Jesus the president of your heart, he will influence your decisions and the world that you live in. So I would like you to take time to go to JesusForPresident.com and give us your email address so we can keep you updated on what's going on. And if you can feel it in your heart to do so, maybe buy a yard sign or a bumper sticker or, just donate some money to the cause. Because without your help, we can't spread the word effectively. So partner with Jesus Christ and let's see him become president of everybody's heart. Okay? Thank you so much and God bless you.